Hi, welcome back to Common Core 1.2 Part D, as in doggy. Now, cube roots. We did square roots before, and if you remember, square roots was simply what times what makes a number. In other words, as 5 times 5 makes 25, the root of 25 would equal 5. Well, in that same way, a cube root means what times what times what. What three numbers multiplied will make that. So just as 2 times 2 times 2 was 8, the cube root of 8 would make 2. Now, it looks a little confusing. Well, really, if you remember, let's just take 2 times 2. If 2 times 2 is 4, all right, no big deal there. So the square root of 4 is 2. What they don't tell you is the square root should actually have a little 2 in here. They just don't put it. So anytime there's a different number in here, it just means how many of them are going to be multiplied. So since you see a cube here, that makes a cube root, meaning what times what times what will make that number. And that's going to find an 8 here. So cube root of 8 is going to make 2. So in that same way, ask yourself what three numbers multiplied will make 27, 125, 1,000, and negative 64. So go ahead and pause it and try. Let's see how you did. Hopefully you were able to either work out via a calculator or whatnot how to solve, and hopefully you knew that the cube root of 27 is 3. Before we go further, though, the question is, wait a minute, I don't have a cube root on my calculator. These little standard guys might not. You might have to just try 2 times 2 times 2. That's 8, not big enough. All right, 3 times 3 times 3. 27. Okay, so you can do a little trial and error. Other calculators do have that button. You might have a button that has a cube root feature or a number you can put in. It might be something like this, where you see an X here and a Y or something to that nature. So again, show me in the morning, and I'll be happy to let you see which calculators you have. Anyway, cube root of 125 is 5, because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Cube root of 1,000 is 10. And a cube root of negative 64 is negative 4. Now, why a negative? Because 3 negatives will make a negative. And that's why it's a negative. And 4 times 4 times 4 makes 64. Skills practice. Try these 4. Go ahead. Pause. See how you did. Cube root of 729 is 9. Cube root of negative 1 million is negative 100. You're like, what? Yeah, because 100 times 100 times 100 makes a million, and 3 negatives makes a negative. Cube root of negative 1 is still negative 1, because 3 negative 1s pushed together will make a negative 1 still. And a cube root of 8, if you're paying attention, is a 2. Multiply and square. Square roots, squares, cubes. Just as 3 times 3 is 9, now 3 squared times 3 squared is going to be 3 times 3 times another 3 times 3. So there are 4 3's total. Let me back up here. So just as a single 3 times a single 3 makes 9, 2 3's and 2 more 3's are going to make 4 3's. So there are 4 3's total. So what you're doing is when you're multiplying exponents, if the bases are the same, if this and that are both 3's, you can simply add these two together, saying, okay, here's a couple 3's, here's a couple more 3's. Combined, I have 4 3's, so I have 3 to the 4th power. Shortcut, bases are the same, add the exponents together. Bingo, bango, bongo. Give them a try, you try. These 3, go ahead. Did you get 3 to the 7th? Did you get 11 to the 13th? Did you get 8 to the 8th? I'm not looking for the whole number, so if you wrote 343, that's fine. If you did 343, no, that's not right. 3 to the 7th is, see, even I have to check. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. What a headache. Looks like I got 2187, but that's not the point. I'm perfectly happy with 3 to the 7th powers. All you have to do. You don't have to give me the whole thing listed out here. Not at this point. Skills practice. Just basically add up the exponents. You got 3 of them, go ahead. How'd you do? 6 to the 10th, 12 to the 127th, and 5 to the 82nd. Hopefully you got those right. Important, the bases have to be the same. If I have 3 to the 5th and 2 to the second, I cannot combine because the bases are not the same. Have to be the same bottom numbers. If I say I have 3 apple pies and 2 cherry pies, I can't say I have 5 apple or 5 cherry. They ain't the same. So in the same way, if the bases aren't the same, it don't work. Bye. We'll pause the video and go get something to eat. It's flip class. You're watching this at night, hopefully, so go get a snack if you want. Anyway, these are just what they are. Now, yeah, you could turn this into 5 3s and 2 times 2 and figure that out, but they can't combine as one base and exponent. Now, if you have like bases and unlike, now here's something you can do. Notice here how you have 3 to the 8th power and 3 to the 3rd power. So I have 8 3s and 3 more 3s. Now that I can combine. Okay, so I have 11 3s total. Here I have a single 2, and here I have 9 more 2s. Well, if I have a 2 and 9 more 2s, I have 10 2s. So I can combine at least that much. You try. Combine the like base exponents. Go ahead. Well, hopefully you combine these two and get 8 to the 10th. And here you get these two times 4 to the 4th, because there's 4 4s basically now. Here are 3s, 15 and 7 make 22, so 3 to the 22nd times. I have 21 2s and 3 more 2s, so I have 2 to the 24th. Finally, I'm going to start with a base of 7s. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to go with the lower base number. 2 plus 5 plus 12 is going to make 19, so 7 to the 19. And then I just have 9 to the 5th. I can't combine because they're not the same base. Skills practice. Take these 3, go ahead and pause and combine. See how you did. I get 2 to the 54th, 3 to the 17th, 5 to the 29th, 9 to the 95th, 2 to the 9th, 9 to the 7th. Sounds groovy. Yeah. Now it's the same as if it is a negative exponent. Now it's going to get a little weird here. I'm going to try to keep it simple. KISS rule. Just if I were to combine a 5 and a negative 2, and I know we haven't done much of this because, again, Common Core, I don't have time to go through all the little nuances, but 5 plus negative 2 just means 5 minus 2, because a plus and minus combined makes a negative. Well, 5 minus 2 is 3. Or if you want, you can just take your calculator and say, okay, well, I'm going to have 5 plus negative 2. This little calc has the negative sign here, so I can say 5 plus negative 2. Notice how that equals a 3 either way. So if you got to calc it out, do it, but just as long as you get it. Anyway, so 4 to the 5th plus 4 to the negative 2nd is 3. I might show you a shortcut later, but that's how. Now here, if I take negative 5 and negative 2, and again, we didn't do a lot of this because of Common Core, but basically the idea is if you have positives and negatives, let's put the negative over here. Negative over here and positive over here. I have 5 in the negative column, and I got 2 more in the negative column, so I have 7 in the negative column. That's why it's 4 to the negative 7. We're going to practice this tomorrow. So you try. Go ahead and combine these 3. Let's see how you did. I get 2 to the 3rd, 9 to the negative 7th, which for now is what I want, and 4 to the negative 10th. We're actually going to stop here for the end of this lesson because this part here is going to get a little more involved. I want to do one thing at a time, so we're going to take a quick break now. We'll pick up the video next time. Thanks again. Bye.